Reverend Steve, you raised a lot of really good points in your very simple but very powerful, recommendations that you would have had. I tried to bring that up a little bit when I pointed their attention to the preamble or the findings and declarations, where essentially we, the voters, find that marijuana has medical value, in short. And I said to them, I don't know if you're aware that all of the statutes that criminalize it in Michigan go, and my point was that by, this declaration, by virtue of vote, has declared that marijuana is no longer a Schedule I drug. But all of the statutes that criminalize it still refer to marijuana as a Schedule I drug. This is completely inconsistent with the intent of the voters, And if you're really going to do anything about that, you need to look at these issues. One of the things we gave them, some amendments to the, statutes that criminalize marijuana to include a new aspect of it, which is for, except for medical use, as being an exception to the criminalization of it. And in that case, if you put something like that solidly in the public health code that they do not need more than 50%, 51%, it then, codifies this concept at the bare minimum amongst the marijuana statutes, and then, you would have an opportunity to. I know we got an extra 30 minutes. I don't know we can do. Through the, it would give us some leverage and whatnot. That was one of it. But I agree with you. That's been overlooked, not discussed. The other thing was, I said to them, I can't believe no one has brought up. We're still debating this doctor bill. You, Dr. Legislator, I'm sorry, it's just legislature, are going to come up with the way doctor and patients are supposed to, and that's going to make it right.
It's the best argument against 4851, right, and no one had brought it up.
Lara just came out with a thing, and whether you like it or not, at least it's doctors speaking to doctors that are going to, be the ones reviewing the doctors of whether they're compliant or not. This is a much better policy. It eliminates the need for the legislature even contemplating this issue. Yes. They've solved the problem.
Dan had a really interesting observation that HB 4834 doesn't have any restrictions, any additional restrictions on the police once they do get the data, meaning that they could republish that data like they republish the sex offender registry. They could make the locations known and public on the Internet as they are released to them.
Oakland County would be the head county to start that.
Well,
absolutely,
not like
would be.
There are a lot of criminal elements out there that have a treasure map of houses in their location, in their vicinity to visit. It's absolutely ridiculous to think that we would publish a list of disabled persons on the Internet. A group of people whose only commonality is that they're sick and dying.
This is horrific. This is how it starts. This is like the destruction of constitutional principles. I'm telling you, this is where it gets really crazy, where you start picking out classes of persons and start describing their rights being different than other people because of their health or well-being. I mean, think of what this is really being stated. This is a difficult point to make, and with all the nonsense going on, and them trying to focus on what they want to talk about, these points are sometimes missed, but
they do really want to tunnel everybody into just what they want to talk about, and everybody, may not just want to talk about what they want to talk about at this point. It may not be that orderly. There are a lot of considerations that they need to deal with as they're going through this process, and it may not just be everybody doing things exactly the way that they want them to.
Horn and Kavanaugh last week.
Well, let me tell you, I sit back and I listen and I try to figure out where do these reps come from, and our own representative, State Representative Ray France from this district, just got through a few weeks ago doing an interview in our local Record Patriot, and in his closing statement, he stated that it's the responsibility of a representative to follow and do what that representative feels is best for the good of the people. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I wrote it. I fired a letter to the editor. I said, what? I said, wait a minute. I want this man to represent me, the public. I don't want a Father Knows Best who is going to do what he thinks is best for me.
But that's unfortunately the experience that we've had in the legislature. Oftentimes, regardless of what the polls tell me, regardless of what my personal experience is, and regardless of what the general populace has expressed to me, I'm still going to go against all of that and support my own personal beliefs. Levin Stabenow, that's a shot over there too. On a federal basis, if we have medical marijuana legalized in Michigan, there's no reason whatsoever why they shouldn't be pushing it for it to be legalized on a national level. Our people have spoken.
That's correct. That is correct.
You know, this just underscores the need for us to have our forces out there at the Clarion Hotel on Sunday between 11 and 4 so that everybody can get on the same page. We can make sure that all of the nuances about these particular laws are represented by patients and by persons to whom the legislators are going to listen and whose testimony they will hold dear. Make sure that there's no issue that doesn't get raised by making sure that our message is coordinated. So I would encourage everybody that can to come out on Sunday to Ann Arbor.
You listen to Planet Green Trees.
And I'm doing my part up here and trying to encourage people to get down there. I myself am not going to be able to be there for that, but I'm trying to get myself on the mend here because my schedule is I just made reservations tonight for a motel down there by Warren. I'm going to be the 23rd, 24th, and 25th at Rooster Tail with the Michigan NORML table. And then, of course, I will be at the Clarion. We're planning on, my wife and I are planning on moving into the Clarion at Ann Arbor on the 5th of April on Thursday, and we will be there through Monday morning, for Hash Bash. And so I've got to gear myself and get myself healthy and enough to do these two things at the end. So I would love to be down in Lansing next Thursday, and be part of that public testimony and give them my recommendations.
Well, you make a good point, though. There are just so many ways and opportunities for people in the community to get involved. And if you could only select one of the different things that Reverend Stephen just mentioned, and you rattle off about 4 different events coming up, if you could only attend one of those, that would still be a level of support that maybe the community hasn't seen in a while. And you'd be able to participate in a petition drive to legalize cannabis in Michigan with repealtoday.org. You could maybe sign a petition to recall Bill Schuette. You could possibly participate in a compassion club in your area. The ways for people to get involved in Michigan right now to make their voice heard, really, it's a staggering quantity. And anyone that doesn't take advantage of it really should take a look at their priorities and make sure that they're supporting what they believe in.
That's
You're listening
right.
to Planet Green Trees, and we are in the special bonus hour only because we are with Reverend Steve calling in, and we are collectively as a community, all in the studio here, and anyone that's listening, sending out nothing but good health, thoughts, prayers for Reverend Steve to get him better so he can make it to these important events and just generally so he can be happy. And we appreciate him calling in, of course, and we want to keep this going, and we're going to go to another call. I don't know if this person's actually wanting to talk now, but I'm going to throw him into the fire. 586, you're on the line. Can you hear us? Maybe not. I hear myself. Maybe okay. We're going to keep this up. Right. So, tell us what else is happening with the NORML. We've got this, of course, Hash Bash and tragic story of our dear friend Adam. What has been the word on that? Anything that we can report on?
The last report that I got from Adam, I know that Tim is keeping close track of him. As a matter of fact, I owe Adam a letter right now, and just haven't had the strength or energy to sit down and write him one. The thing that really upset me was the last letter I got from him. He basically informed me that they have him in the area of Parnell, that everybody that's in his area, all the prisoners in his area, are in there for sexual charges. He's the only one in there on a gun charge, and that's right there should tell the public something. They want that man to die, while he's in there. They don't want him to come out of there, and that really upsets me. As far as what since I've retired in November and scaled back, I've been very active in the petition, and I think that's why this sickness has hung on me, because we had two local events here. We had the Beulah Winterfest at the 1st of February, which draws hundreds into the downtown Beulah area, and then the very next weekend we had Shiver by the River over in Frankfort, which draws close to 1,000 people into the downtown area. And I was out at both of these events, bundled up and for hours and collecting signatures and trying to keep the ink from freezing. and it really upset me because Tuesday, my voting poll, my township office is just a half block down the street here from my house, and I went down to vote, and my full intentions was to stand out there for the day and collect signatures, and I just couldn't. All I could do was go and vote, cast my vote for Ron Paul, and I had to come back home. And what I'm trying to do is just right now just stay stay here close to home and try to shake this sickness. I don't think I've ever can remember a time in my life I've been sick for so long. So this has been going on off and on since the last week of January. And,
a man this close to the Lord shouldn't be sick like that.
I know.
I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better.
RepealToday.org. Where can people sign petitions in your area, if you know? I know we met with
Absolutely.
Matt today, and we wanted to. We're doing everything we can. I know it's a difficult time because of the weather. It's going to be more difficult as the weather gets nicer, but we're going to have to really be hitting it hard as these months come forward. Where are some places in your area, Reverend, that listeners should
We have
know?
one place here in Benzie County, which is right on Route 31. It is my home. My home is right in Benzonia on 31, on the corner of Burr Street and 31. So I've been directing people, and I am coordinator for this area. And I've got about 4 helpers that are out with petitions and collecting SIGs, and are supposed to turn them back into me. And but I've been telling everybody I am open every day, 7 days a week here at the house from 11 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening. They can contact me at 231-882-4496. or just simply stop at 1136 Michigan Avenue, which is US 31, and sign the petition, or even pick up petitions.
That's great. Of course,
I can take people through a 5-minute training, and they are petition gatherer.
So you can train them up, because it's important to be able to have the petition signed properly. We are aware that they'll be under some additional scrutiny because of the Attorney General's office. We want to make sure that everything's done correctly and that no signature is wasted.
The two biggest problems we've been running into in this area, which is the same problems I ran into back in 2001 when we were collecting for PRA and in 2007 when we were checking for the medical, is people do not know if they are in a township or a city. Now, we're fortunate here in Benzie because we only have one city, and that's Frankfort. Everybody else is township. And so unless you live within the limits of the city limits of Frankfort, you are in a township. And you have to make sure that they mark that correctly, because I know they're going to look at that. And the other thing that you have to watch people on is that where it's today's date, they want to put their birth date in there.
Yep, absolutely.
So you got to take them step by step through the signing.
And that's why it's important for people to be trained and to know exactly what there is about petitions and the unique characteristics that they have. So that's why we don't oftentimes mail blank petitions to people just because they want to have them signed. You know, we love the enthusiasm, but getting it done correctly is more important than getting it done. We'd hate to have to waste someone's signature in January that could potentially help us recruit more signatories in June, simply because it was done incorrectly, and that we don't want to waste anybody's effort.
The other thing that I have been instructing the ones I've been training to collect petitions, and I do this myself. Every signature we get, we tell the signature, the person who's signing the petition, I tell them, if we are able to accomplish this and we qualify for the ballot, I want you to know up front that you're going to get hit with news media left and right about how between July and November about how the state is going to go into total anarchy, how the kids are going to get the marijuana, and all this negatory stuff. And I said, I want you all to know up front. I want you to know up front, we're not going to have the money to combat this. We're not going to have the money to fight this. We're just going to depend on the fact that you know the truth and you know that you're being lied to.